I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. At a press briefing on Friday, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis decried President Biden over the continued surge of migrants crossing the southern border. Accusing the president of opening the border upon inauguration, DeSantis said that the results of the Biden administration's immigration policies have been, quote, catastrophic. DeSantis said the migrant surge was a deliberate goal of the current administration. He also announced policies to combat the influx of undocumented border crossers. Let's listen in to the Florida Republican.
You know, we have focused a lot on what's going on with the economy, with a massive spike that we've seen in energy and gas prices, and people will ask, why does this happen? What could be done? I said, if you just went back January 20th, 2021 and did the opposite of what was done, we'd be in a much better spot economically. And so now people are seeing that every day when they go to fill up their gas tank and they go to the grocery stores, it's having a huge impact. And unfortunately, a lot of that was self-inflicted with really bad policies coming out of Washington. And so we focus a lot on identifying that, but we also recognize that January 20th, 2021 also marked a period where this country under Joe Biden was going to open up the southern border. And what we have seen in the year and a half during this administration is over 3 million people illegally cross the U.S.-Mexico border. And the most recent month was the biggest numbers that anybody has ever seen. And so you have people coming across illegally from countries all over the world. You have people from Central America, South America, the Caribbean, Africa, the Middle East. You've had Libyans, you've had people all over know if they just get to the southern border, you come in, they're just going to release you into society. And so what has that gotten us? It's gotten us record human trafficking, record sex trafficking, and record drug trafficking. We now in this country have the leading cause of death for people 18 to 45 is fentanyl overdose. Where is the fentanyl coming into the country from? 95% of it's coming from the U.S.-Mexico border. And so these policies have been catastrophic. It has caused a lot of really negative incentives. The people that really like it are the Mexican drug cartels because they are making a killing and they are eating our lunch every single day at the border, and they're taking advantage of a lot of innocent people and hurting a lot of innocent people as a result. So those policies of Biden, his border policies, have been an abject failure. His policies, unfortunately, though, the results we're seeing is in line with the intent of what he was trying to do. He knew that doing these policies was going to lead to this. And so the policies are failing. They're bad. Unfortunately, this is what he was trying to do. And so this is wrong, and we have a responsibility in Florida to be able to fight back. And all of that, those numbers, that's with Title 42 still being in place. He wants to take that away. They let people come illegally. They don't care about COVID shots or anything like that, but Americans wanting to do things, they still want. There's parts of this country where they have different types of mandates on. And so they treat people coming illegally almost better than American citizens in some respects, which is just insane. So that he's been stopped in the courts from doing that. Just imagine if they do Title 42, then what's going to happen? I mean, it's going to be unlike anything we've ever seen. In fact, you're looking at 18,000 additional illegal aliens every day if Title 42 was to be repealed, and that would end up being over 6.5 million illegal aliens every year. That's more than the population of 33 states in this country. And so we have got to put a stop to this. Now, we're not a border state, so some people say, why are you doing stuff like, when I became governor, we finally banned sanctuary cities in Florida. We've taken steps to be able to protect the people of Florida. We've done different announcements here where we, in fact, we're actually winning the lawsuit in federal court in Northwest Florida against Biden's catch and release policy, and you can't just release these folks in our communities. So we've been fighting this the whole time. But people will say, well, let Texas worry about that, or Arizona, or whatever. Let me tell you, people coming illegally, a lot of them are trying to get here in the state of Florida. Okay, and so this is something that absolutely affects us. The drugs that are coming in affect us, and then just the sheer number of people. If he's letting all these people in and they're going to all communities across our country, just think how many schools are going to be overwhelmed, other health care, other types of public services, just because they can't keep control of the border. So it has a profound impact on communities all across this country, and it does have a profound impact on people in Florida. And when I had state law enforcement helping Texas last summer, and a lot of the people that were coming illegally were asking about getting to Florida. I mean, I was surprised at how many. I knew some would, but I was surprised as even more. I mean, look, everyone in the United States wants to come to Florida. I guess everyone around the world. I mean, but what they also have done is they will take minors. So you will have, some are just children, 5, 6 years old. Some are more, teenage, mostly males. But they come across the border, and there's a program, a federal program, where they are supposed to be resettled in our country. So they will put these folks on planes, and they will fly them around the country in the middle of the night, and then secretly disperse them to these different, quote, nonprofit groups. And so what that has done is that has facilitated and incentivized putting these minors on this journey to be able to get across which is a hazardous journey and is not something that we should be wanting to incentivize, but that's been the effect of it. And so we're taking action today. This is a set of continuing steps that we've taken, and we will do more as circumstances warranted. But what I'm announcing today are 3 different actions. First, we got money in the budget, $12 million, to be able to keep illegals out of the state of Florida. And so we obviously need to implement that. What we have done to start is formed a strike force of state and local law enforcement to be able to interdict illegal drug smuggling, human trafficking, as well as illegals that are illegally carrying firearms throughout the state of Florida. So this will be Florida Highway Patrol, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and the sheriff's offices across Florida. So they've already started operating in Northwest Florida with FDLE, FHP, and the 4 local sheriff's office, and they've already done 7 illegal aliens arrested for human smuggling and drug possession. 5 of the aliens were from Honduras, 2 were from El Salvador, and they're all now in jail. One of them had an active Interpol warrant, and so they were able to recover off these illegal aliens enough fentanyl to kill 2,000 people in the state of Florida. And so we do not want this in our state, and so we are going to react very strongly against that. The second thing we are doing is we have today filed a petition with the Florida Supreme Court requesting an order to impanel a statewide grand jury to examine international human smuggling networks that bring illegal aliens across the southern border and ultimately to states like Florida. The grand jury will examine the effects of those international networks on Florida and how they have violated Florida law. And the purpose of the grand jury will be to investigate individuals and organizations that are actively working with foreign nationals, drug cartels, coyotes, to illegally smuggle minors, some as young as 2 years old, across the border and into Florida. This is just wrong what they're doing, and we are going to go after it. Grand jury will also investigate the methods that these smugglers use to transport so-called unaccompanied alien children across the southern border and any criminal activity that is associated with these operations, and we know there is a lot of criminal activity associated with those. The grand jury will also investigate local governments that are aiding this smuggling scheme by intentionally violating our state law against sanctuary jurisdictions. So as governor, it's my responsibility to protect the people of Florida. That's why we're requesting this special grand jury, and it will make a difference for our state. And then finally, I'm signing Senate Bill 1808 to fight illegal immigration to further protect Floridians from Biden's border crisis. What this bill does is it penalizes any of these contractors that the federal government is hiring to dump illegal aliens in our state. And so they will be ineligible for any tax contracts or anything like that. The bill also requires law enforcement agencies operating with county detention facilities to enter into a written agreement with ICE to assist in enforcing federal immigration laws by identifying illegal aliens who do not belong in the United States. And so we're happy to be able to sign that bill into law, and I think it'll make a difference. And so we've already taken a lot of really significant steps. Last summer, I signed an executive order to protect Floridians from the dangerous impacts of the Biden border crisis and appointed the state's first public safety czar, Larry Keefe, who's here, and I think we announced that in Escambia County. In February, DCF, Department of Children and Families, filed a proposed rule to end Florida's participation in the unaccompanied alien minor program. The rule prohibits the issuance of renewal of licenses for facilities or organizations that house illegal alien children who the federal government are resettling in Florida unless there is an agreement between the state of Florida and the federal government. It's a huge cash cow for a lot of these organizations. They get massive amounts of federal dollars, but you have all these foreign nationals they're bringing and then putting in the community. That's a big, big burden on our school system and on other types of public works. In June of 2019, of course, I signed our sanctuary city ban in the state of Florida, and we've had people sue on that. We're going to win that, but at the end of the day, our view is somebody is here illegally, we need to go, and law enforcement has them. They need to work with the federal government to get them removed from our state. And so that's what we're doing, and we don't want to be like San Francisco or LA or some of these states where they're basically just sanctuary jurisdictions and the rule of law has effectively been suspended. So that's not going to fly in the state of Florida. So we're going to continue to work hard. Obviously, we would love to see a reversal in federal policy. Sometimes you just have to admit that what you're doing isn't working. I've seen no indication that Joe Biden is one of those people who will actually look in the mirror and want to make a different decision. But nevertheless, I mean, we know there's certain things that could be done immediately that would have a very, very positive impact. And, the states, if the federal government just refuses to enforce the law, you should, like Texas should do the border, and we could have other states have people go to be able to help do that. I mean, they literally just let them rock right across the river, and they don't even do anything. I would have people there to say, you can't go across the river in the first place, and then if they do, you send them back across the border the other way. I mean, that would be the deterrent. When you have people come in and they get apprehended, turned over to the feds, and then the feds just release them and say, yeah, you have a hearing, just schedule your hearing next year, whatever. They're not going to come back and schedule these hearings. They are gone with the wind, man, and that's just the reality. And so it's been a really, really disastrous set of policies, and it's put us in the situation that we find ourselves now. And yes, drugs have been devastating, all the other costs associated with this. A lot of the people that have been trafficked through here have been big victims, these foreign nationals. But even put that aside, a country can control its borders. Okay, if you are a legitimate sovereign, then that border means something. And it means that you get to determine who comes and who doesn't. And, I want to have, strong border just for a lot of reasons, but that is just a core attribute of sovereignty. And if other people and other countries can determine when they come in against our laws, then you're not really exercising the sovereignty that a viable country would do. So let's just get real here. Let's try to get back on the ball with what we were doing before. There's more that needed to be done when Biden came in. I'll be the first to acknowledge that, but he went in a totally different direction, and now we're having to try to clean up this mess after him. So we're going to work hard on it. I want to thank everybody here who's been involved in this effort. Thank the legislature for providing us some funding that we're going to have access to very soon to be able to continue to put these plans in effect. So we're going to hear from a number of folks. So we'll start with the director of the Florida Highway.